Yo, what is good, Mason?
Yo, what's up, Adam? How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Before we jump into episode 43, I've got a word from, I guess, Assemblage. We're our sponsor
Us?
today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Assemblage, we do a lot of different things. For those of you who don't know, assemblage means to blend. It's a French winemaker's term, and basically kind of sums up what we do at Assemblage. Right, we do a blend of a lot of different things: podcasting, consulting. We've got a merch shop, which is kind of what I'm here to plug today. Really cool stuff: t-shirts, hoodies, hats, stickers, wine workshops. Maybe might put some of these guys on there at some point. So we've got some cool stuff. Mason's probably got a t-shirt on under there with Assemblage Bevco t-shirt. Make sure you go check out the man, he's really getting in there. He's got
Yeah.
the here for a good time, not a long time tea in, I believe that's the white color. Um, or maybe it's the sand color. I don't know. I can't
Yeah,
tell.
I think it's the sand.
The sand color.
Yeah.
So really cool stuff. We are currently, for any purchases that are made on the website, we are going to be donating a portion of that to our scholarship, which is coming out probably in September. So be sure to check us out, www.assemblagebevco.com. Check out the merch and support us, support the scholarship, all that good stuff.
Bring it in, everybody. You know what we need.
Yeah. And now we're on to episode 43, which we are talking about golf and wine. Not really a big classic combo, but it might be after this podcast. It might be the newest, greatest thing. Golf is something that Mason and I both love to play. However, we
Yeah.
don't play it all that much because we're both busy guys.
Yep.
And a round of golf takes a good chunk of time. So
5 hours for 18 holes.
yeah, and sometimes we
Crush
have
out.
to, sometimes we got to prioritize. Like it's either hang with the fam, hang with the wife, or go play golf with the boys. And most of the time, hanging out with the wife and the fam takes precedent. But sometimes you got to say, you know what, babe, I need a day with the
Me
boys.
time.
Me time. We're going golfing. So Mason, I know you went golfing this weekend. How did your round go?
Yeah. So I went out with my father-in-law and one of his friends, and I would say I was pretty subpar. I hit some really good ones. I felt really good on the golf course. You get those like really great drives in which you're just like,
Yep.
and you just knock it out of the park, and you just feel it, and you know it's good. And you hit the next ball, and it's just a shank. And you're like, wow.
Yep.
But then you hit that right one right back over into it, and you save yourself somehow getting on the green and putting it right in. And it just feels so good when you get those perfect shots every time. And
Yeah.
then you lose it just like that.
Yeah, and golf's a super frustrating game, but it's like those good shots. However, they're not super. They're a little bit few and far between. And I'm speaking for myself, and we're probably around the same skill level. So, but those good shots kind of get you to come back again and again.
Oh yeah. What about you? How was your round this weekend?
Again, hit some good shots, hit some bad shots. Finally figured out my driver, which was great because it's a club that I can either hit a mile or I draw it right into the woods. So I was actually hitting the driver pretty well. I was hitting my irons pretty decently well. Couldn't chip and could not putt. They had aerated the greens like probably 2 weeks ago, and so the greens were super super slow. Um, so just couldn't figure them out. Played a little 3-person scramble, little best ball scramble. So kind of a nice way to kind of keep everyone involved. Kind of keeps everyone's head, right, because even if you had a bad shot, you've got two other people to kind of save your ass. So overall is good. Drank way too much on the course
Mm,
because
yeah.
that is like half the reason why I go out. Yeah, probably between
Yeah.
40 and 50% of the reason why I go out is to drink on the course. So drank way too much. The drinks of choice this weekend were Miller High Life, of course. Um, one of my people in my group brought a flask of Jameson.
Yummy.
Yep. And so that happened. And then I was an absolute delinquent. And when the Bev cart came around, got a shot of Jack Daniels. And then next time the Bev cart came around, a shot of tequila. So I was just mixing it
Slaying it.
all. And it was interesting because normally the Bev cart will sell like the little airplane bottles.
Yeah.
They were selling it in 1 ounce, 1 ounce like souffle cups, like the ones that you'd get at like a fast food restaurant for like ketchup or something when you get it to go.
Yeah.
And they were chilled, which was nice. But I will say, not the most ideal thing to drink out of because it's such like a
Wide
wide
mouth.
thing, and when you pop the lid off, it like some of that liquid kind of suctions itself to it, so you end up like
Mm.
spilling a little bit. But overall, like the fact that they were chilled, it was like 95 degrees, so a chilled shot, it hits different. What about you,
Damn, that's
Mason? what were
awesome.
you what were you sipping on?
Yeah. So before heading out onto the golf course, had myself a good Bloody Mary, and then
Nice.
on starting onto the golf course, started with just some Coors Light, classic water. You know what
Hmm.
I'm talking about, and had a couple of those, and that's all I really had. We didn't sneak on any extras or anything like that, which was unfortunate, but had a really good time. Hitting those shots. But when my father-in-law makes those Bloody Marys, he makes them good. Makes them real
Nice.
good.
Nice. Yeah, it's like I'm always that guy who sneaks like 12 beers in my golf bag, even when it's like no outside beverages, because I'm like, I'm not gonna pay $6 for a beer when I can go buy a 12 pack of High Life for $10, and
Right.
I've got beer all day. Like, granted, towards the end it's pretty warm, which sucks, but I kind of thought I was gonna have some help drinking those High Lifes, which I didn't. So I didn't drink all of them. Don't worry, I probably only had like 7 of them. But that mixed with the Jameson and the shots, like, and it was
Just
95 degrees, and
just
I
a great
maybe
time all
had
around.
a bottle of water. So it was like the ratio is god
Perfect.
awful, but oh yeah, it was perfect. It was
It
perfect.
was
But
it was that perfect, like I'm feeling really good. I'm hitting my shots every time, and then all of a sudden, where am I again? And then boom, got the shots again. Boom,
yep,
boom, boom.
exactly. Yeah, and
Ugh.
it's a fine line of like, okay, I'm playing pretty well, so I do a shot, and then I'm like, that was a bad mistake because now I'm like not playing as well. Sometimes the shots work in a weird way. Like sometimes the shots can raise your game, and sometimes it can just absolutely tank it. So, yeah,
Definitely.
it was a good combination of stuff. Felt pretty good the next day, so that's a big win.
Hey, that's a win right there. Never feeling hungover is the key now.
Yeah.
As we get older.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can drink and not feel hungover the next day is like a big win. And we're not even that old, but it's still like an absolute big win.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's just like takes out so much of your day, and I know as we keep getting older, it keeps getting worse. But you know, eh,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
yeah, exactly. And I know, because I was out there, and you kind of like, whenever I golf, I kind of have the same beverages, right? Like the beer is always there. There's always some sort of like liquor or shots, birdie juice, the good stuff. And I was kind of thinking, like, you know, why is that, and why can't there be like other things? And maybe there is for certain people, but I was kind of thinking, like, why can't wine be something that people drink on the course? And maybe, maybe I mean, there's probably plenty of reasons why wine is not enjoyed on the course, but like, I think the right wine could actually be enjoyed pretty just like a beer or something like that. Obviously, like maybe not like a canned Cabernet or like a canned, big bold wine, but maybe like a white wine or sparkling wine, rosé. Um, but
Rose all day.
rose all day. Which so I kind of was thinking about some other beverages, which I think is kind of some of the stuff that's in this podcast, kind of some like other alternatives that could be good on the golf course. And I know you have some. What are you sipping on today, Mason?
Yeah, so I'm sipping on two cocktails right now, or canned wine cocktails is what they're described as. Both from the same producer of Bizarro as the company. And one's I don't know if the light's helping or hurting. One's a spritzer style, and one's an Aperol spritz style. And that's the best way to
Hmm.
describe them. But both technically wine cocktails or wine mixers or whatever coolers or whatever verbiage you want to use.
Yeah.
Um, and they're both very delicious, very, very different. Like this one literally tastes like I'm drinking like a lemon vodka spritz kind of status, and this one really tastes like you're drinking Aperol spritz,
Hmm.
and it's a nice balance. And it's crazy because like exact same size, same producer, where they made this one at 12.75% and this one at 5%. Like how different they decided to make these cocktail wine mixers versus what they could have done. And I think these right here are like specific types of things that are wine related drinks that definitely would be crushers on a golf course. Like I have no problem drinking this all day long. Like this one, maybe not because of how strong it is. I'd want to slow it down, but
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying.
But the strong one is the more refreshing, you'd say.
I like bitter flavors, so like this one's a little bit more bitter, and
Hmm.
so I like that bitter kind of aspect. So I would say most people would prefer this, but myself likes this one more.
Fair. But maybe the stronger, but maybe the more lemony, citrusy one would probably be a better golf course beverage for most people.
Again, yes, I agree. For most people, this is probably it. But again, like this is 12.75, where you would
Hmm.
have like typical glass of wine right there, basically,
Yeah.
and typical size too. I think what is this like a little 250 milliliters? Typical size, I would say, for a glass of wine, right? Maybe a little high.
It's like
Glass and a half,
I
glass
mean
and a
it's like a
quarter.
it's like a third of a bottle. So whatever that is, like two, not
Point
quite two
one point
glasses, like
six.
a glass and a half, something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So about
it's
right.
a decent amount of liquid as well for what you're drinking, and I don't know if as long as you kept this on ice, I feel like would be easy drinking and delicious like the entire time. I think maybe the problem is with wine is it warms up so easily because
Hmm.
it's less liquid normally as well, and maybe that's why another theory on why maybe wine is not drank on the golf course as often. But I don't know. It could go back and forth. What are you drinking on right now? Sipping on?
Yeah, so I'm actually trying something that like I was like so I was in the store today and just kind of like looking for some stuff for the podcast, and I was in like the canned slash boxed wine aisle of the grocery store, which is not a place that I find myself very often. But
True.
I was
Fair.
like, I got to do some research, and a part of it's good because a part of wine and a part of golf, which is kind of why I think the two could pair together, is they both can be a little bit pretentious. There's a lot of like gatekeeping that goes on in both, which I think is like I still don't understand it, but there is like that kind of that pay to play in a way. With golf, like golf is a very expensive sport, or it can be. You've got your
Agreed.
clubs, you've got to buy the balls, you've got to play like your pay for the tee time, which can be anywhere from like 30 to $500, like depending on where you're playing.
Yeah.
uh the drinks, everything like that, and it takes a long time. Same thing with wine, obviously. Like wine, and good wine doesn't have to be expensive, just like a nice golf course doesn't have to be expensive, but it has that kind of same, you know threshold of like, in theory, the more you pay, the nicer it is. Obviously, we've had that conversation, doesn't always pan out that way. So I
Very
was kind
true.
of thinking, like, why isn't wine, because wine and golf have so many similarities, why isn't it, kind of more drank on the course? So the first drink that I have, so I bought like a plethora of things at the store because I was like, and all this stuff sold in one packs at the store, which is pretty nice. So I was like, oh, I'll take one of those, one of those. So I'm drinking Underwood, the Bubbles, which is Oregon grown. So it's some sort of sparkling wine, probably Chardonnay, if I had to guess. It doesn't really say. Um, and it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I think this can was 4.99 or 5.99. It's a typical like beer can size, a 12-ounce can. So essentially, this is two glasses of wine, um, 11% alcohol, and it's decent. It's not like champagne. I would say it's more of like an entry level prosecco in like characteristic. Surprisingly, this I think my first time having canned wine. It doesn't really taste like aluminum, which I kind of thought like maybe wine would kind of have like a little bit of that metallic taste. It doesn't. It's good. It's refreshing. I don't know that I would want to drink it on the course per
Do
se.
you think it would be better in a different cup or glass?
Maybe, maybe, and it
Hmm,
could be. But the fact is, I wanted to kind of drink it like how I would drink it on the course. Like
totally.
I'm not about to pour my beer into a cup, so I'm definitely not going to pour something else into a cup. That being said, there's some other things that I have that might go better in a cup. But I think if I were to drink wine on the course, I would probably choose something like this because it is bubbly. It is pretty refreshing. It's not sweet. It's pretty dry. And it kind of has like a yeasty, like a slightly yeasty, like almost like beer um, thing to
Flavor.
it. So, and it's 11% alcohol. So it's, decent.
Pretty strong.
Yeah, pretty strong.
A
And
high
again,
alcohol beer again.
huh?
A high alcohol beer, you know?
Hmm.
But wine.
And again, it's just like, it's okay. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And the more I drink it, the more I'm like, okay, like I could get behind it if I had to. Um, I also picked up some other cool things. And we'll kind of talk about like some of the like the alternative packages and stuff like that. But kind of staying on the wine train, I found this mini Boda box. I shouldn't say mini because it's a 500 milliliter box.
Hmm.
This is dry rosé. They've got a bunch of different flavors. They also do the Black Box, the other like box wine brand. They make like little juice box things like that too. But I mean, this thing is essentially three glasses of wine in this little container. Um, I would be slightly afraid to put this in my golf bag because I would be afraid that it would get like punctured. Because again, it's basically just a cardboard box. Um, so I'd be a little bit afraid to put this in my golf bag. I'm not going to open this tonight because three glass of wine. I mean, I say it's a commitment, but I'm about to drink two here and then drink another canned cocktail. So like, really, it's just I can't try all these things. So kind of an
Can you?
interesting. I could, yeah. I've got a long day tomorrow, which yeah, it would just make my
Uh,
long day even worse. But essentially, this, for what it's worth, Wine Enthusiast said it's 50 best buys and has over 50 medals, gold medals. Who the fuck's giving these medals? I don't know. But just kind of another interesting thing, like another way to consume wine that's not in a box or not in a can, it's in a box. Next one, it's a canned cocktail. This is a canned margarita, and it's in like kind of a similar size can as yours, Mason. I don't
how
know.
big is that?
It's this is 100 milliliters, so it's actually smaller than your can. I
A
think
lot. Like a,
half the size,
a third almost. This is
a third,
250.
250. But this is so
That's crazy.
essentially. you take this and you just pour it over ice, and it's the whole cocktail. So in here, there's silver tequila, orange curacao, and 100% real lime juice. Have a feeling the lime juice is probably like from concentrate, but these are actually pretty good.
Roses.
Yeah, roses. It's 27.5% alcohol, so it's a pretty high. I mean, it's a cocktail. Um, and this could be the move because it's really small. You could just grab the ice from the clubhouse and you've got like a really great,
Put two of
little
those
cocktail.
in your bag, and
Exactly.
then like a cup of ice, and that's it. And you put a lid on it and pour it on, pour it, and lid, straw, chilling,
Yep.
chilling on the golf course. You're having a good time.
Absolutely. And my
I really
liquor
like that
store,
idea.
yeah, and again, it doesn't take up much space in your golf bag. Whereas like, you know, I put 12 beers in my golf bag. That easily added like probably damn near 5 pounds in my golf bag, which is golf bags are already pretty heavy with all the clubs and stuff, but
And the golf balls.
and the golf balls and everything. So yeah, it was definitely like made my bag a little bit heavier. So this could be nice because it's high octane. You need maybe even on a rough day like three of these things, and you'd probably be pretty good, three or four. But again, these are really tiny cans, so they don't take up much space. And kind of the last one, like my liquor store I went to had some really cool and interesting like canned cocktails, and a lot of them I'd never seen before, including this one. This is Vita Coco spiked with Captain Morgan. So it's a canned pina colada with Captain Morgan in it.
Yo,
Um,
that's fire. I want that.
yeah. So I'm going to drink this after. So I'll kind of give you my honest feedback on it. But I think four of them were like $9.99. And for reference, this was like $2.99. This was, I think, same $2.99. The canned wine, I think, was like $4.99 or $5.99, and these were essentially like $2.50 ish a can.
Hmm.
Um, they're
Just so
five,
you also know, these were probably like $6 in a store. We sell
$6
them.
each.
Yeah, probably. I'm guessing maybe a little bit more, but I sell them in my restaurant, and they're probably we sell them for $12 each in the restaurant. So
Dang,
I know, right? Crazy,
dang, that's pretty expensive. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like, I guess if you think about like a glass of wine is going to be $12. So
right?
yeah, I guess that's fair. But they also had some cool stuff. Like they had spiked Sunny D, so like a vodka Sunny D. They had a bunch of different Jameson cocktails, like a Jameson ginger, a Jameson cola, all canned. They had White Claw vodka seltzers. They had a lot of different canned cocktails and stuff like that. So lots of really cool alternatives for the golf course, and even more so than I thought there were. Because I kind of just went in for canned wine, and I was like, I almost walked out of there with everything. But I just stuck to four things. So, and everything I bought singles except for the Vita Coco because I was like, I fucking love pina coladas. Not a big Captain Morgan drinker, but I do love a pina colada. So I'm interested to kind of see how it is, as the canned version.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see after I finish this guy.
How close are you? Because I'm done with number one.
I've got maybe a third of it left. It's hard to chug. I will
I get
say,
you. I get you.
like a beer you can easily crush. This
That's
is
true.
definitely a lot harder because it's pretty high in acid. B, it's 11% alcohol, and C, like it's hard to chug wine. Wine is not something that's like a chuggable beverage to most people.
Yeah, but I also that might be a really great point on why it's not applicable or wanted, desired on the golf course. Chuggable is a needed desire because not only do you need it sometimes to finish out the drink, because sometimes it just gets to the point where it's too warm and you're just like, I gotta
Yep.
finish that real quick. But sometimes you just need that little boost as well. You just want to finish that up. Because I was
Yeah.
thinking about it, I shotgunned my first beer in a really long time this weekend for 4th of July. You know,
Hell yeah.
my I got after finishing golf, I get back home to hang out with the family, and my brother-in-law comes up to me and goes, "We're doing this." He's got the shotgun gun toy, and you
Oh
just
shit,
and drink it. Ugh. I was like,
that's pretty cool.
I got it came up. I was like, only if you do it. And he's like, I've already done two. I said, so
Yeah, I got to see you do that. You
I got
know,
to see you do it with
like
me.
you did
If we're
two
doing
since
it,
you bought that, or you did two today.
you're right.
Yeah,
Crushed them out together. It was great. You know,
nice. Yeah, I haven't shotgun a beer in a hot minute.
that was the first one in a really long time.
Yeah, I'm okay. I could do without shotgunning beers, but that's I feel like that's one of those things. Like once you get, I mean, not that it's a certain age thing. I think it's more of like a certain like you just get to the point where you're just like I really don't want to do that anymore. Like maybe maturity is not the right word because that sounds very like pretentious, but it's just like I don't feel like I need to do that to prove anything to anyone anymore. You know, like I'm 27, like I don't feel like even if I was pressured, I like well, if I was pressured, I'd probably do it. But like
Yeah, you
I
would.
yeah, I would cuz I'm a fucking delinquent when I'm like put under pressure. Like I'll do anything. But
So
yeah,
excited.
exactly. Like I just am sitting there like fucking rubbing my hands together like a little demon. But you know, it's not something that I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna shotgun a beer today. You know, it's just not something I like really think about. But you know, the golf course is a good place to do that.
Totally.
So Mason, I know we've kind of touched on some like things, but if I'm not completely sold on wine. I'm not out
Okay.
on wine on the golf course, but I'm not completely in. Um, so besides beer, what are your kind of go-to like if you couldn't choose beer, what would you be choosing on the course?
You know, uh, cocktail mixtures are definitely a go for me. You know, Bloody Mary beforehand is like that breakfast cocktail. You know, gets you
Mm-hmm.
going, gets you excited, gets you a little extra energy with that tomato juice action. Maybe a couple of like bacon strips, fruit or vegetables. You know,
You're
things
going
like
all
that.
in.
If you're going all in, I don't normally go all in. I just do the tomato juice, little Worcestershire Tabasco kind of action with the vodka and call it good. But
Nice.
but if you're getting those toppings, then you get a little extra energy. You know what I'm saying? But I could go literally with like kind of like that. I like the flask. Can't beat that.
Mm-hmm.
But cocktail mixtures, something simple, something delicious. Um, I'm just like love to drink spirits on the rocks, and so like I like them to sit, melt, and whatnot. But there's just like so many different things I would say that I would want to have. It's hard to choose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that.
Um, Go ahead.
Yeah, I would probably be like on that seltzer. Like I love a seltzer nowadays. High
Mm,
noons are great. You know, especially like the seltzers that have like the real booze in it, like the vodka, the tequila. I'm not a big like White Claw person, but I do love the Topo Chico hard seltzers, which those are more of like that malt liquor. Like they don't have actual tequila in them. I'm big in seltzers right now.
you know, I really do love a good seltzer. I think the Truly brand is like one of the most mass produced juice juice
Hmm.
brands. Like literally tastes like a sippy cup, a Capri Sun for an adult status. Literally, that's what it tastes like.
Yeah,
I'm like, you could crush quite a few of those, and I think that would be something easy to do on the golf course all day long.
yeah, that's true. I'm also a big shots guy on the golf course too. Like I feel like
Shots.
shots can either, you know, we did our last podcast on shots, so be sure to check out episode 42. Mason and I chop it up
Shots.
about shots, but
Shots.
um, shots are kind of like a good camaraderie. Is that camaraderie? Is that the right word I'm looking
Camaraderie.
for?
Yeah.
Camaraderie. Uh, Good like way to kind of get the group all together, right? Like are going good. Let's do a shot to celebrate. Things are going bad. Let's take a
Let's
shot
do
to
a shot.
celebrate. And a lot of people will, they'll pack like a bottle of Fireball or a bottle of something in their bag or a flask. They'll kind of have like that little bottle, or maybe some people pack full size 750s in their golf bag. But just kind of like doing a bottle pull, or doing a little like the kind of the pouring it in your mouth. Or some people will bring like little shot glasses with them too, like they get really into it. But like shots on the course are just absolutely electric.
Agreed. They really add to the game. I think either
Mm-hmm.
make you hit those shots perfectly, or really pull you away, and you gotta like zone back in. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And sometimes it's both. Sometimes you'll do one shot and it'll go completely haywire, and you'll do another shot because then you're down bad, you're not feeling, it's like, oh man, this round really like took a turn for the worse. And then you take that second shot and like things get back. And I think that's again kind of like what draws you back to golf is like, even if you hit bad shots, all it takes are a couple good ones to be like, yeah, I want to do that again. Like,
Yeah,
you
that
may crush a
feeling.
drive, duff your next shot, but then put it within like 10 feet of the pin, and then you're like, okay, I'm a fucking baller. Like, I
Right,
completely forgot that I just fucked up that last
fucked
shot.
up. Yeah, when you
Yeah, which is
feel
the
it,
nice
when
part.
you hit
Hmm.
that shot that you're just like,
And
you
everyone's
feel it,
like,
you
hell
swing
yeah.
all the way through, and you hit it, and as soon as it hits the club, it's flying. You don't even have to look at it. You already know it's a good shot as soon as you've hit it. You feel it. Then you're just like, fuck yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have crushed that.
You should
It's
have
good.
crushed that.
Yeah, but it's going to pop. All right. I'm trying the
All
Vita
right, let's
Loca
see.
spiked with Captain Morgan, the little pina colada. Crack this guy
Crush it.
open. Ooh,
Ooh,
that was a good
yeah,
one.
that sounded nice. Ooh,
Ooh, this can
beautiful.
be
How does it smell?
this can be really sweet.
First off, how does it smell? What does it smell
It honestly kind of smells like a Four Loco.
like? Bro Loco, go
Bro,
listen.
yeah, episode 30, Bro Loco. Great podcast with our brothers. But it's kind of pineapple. It's a little bit like it almost kind of smells like sunscreen, like that
Mm,
coconut
like the
sunscreen.
beach.
Yeah, so
Oh
like the
yeah,
beach.
like the beach. I got you. All right. Taste, flavor profile. You gotta take a second sip. You gotta really analyze it. All right, give me a
It's
rundown.
honestly, so like I like the Vita Loca coconut water, even though I know it's really not
It's
like
good
coconut
water.
water. It's like
Mm.
coconut flavored sugar water.
Yep.
It kind of just tastes like, it's not sweet. I will say it smells kind of sweet, but it really is
Is it more Captain Morgany or more Vita
no.
Coconut?
It kind of just more tastes like Vita Coco water with like just this. I think they make one with like a pineapple, like a coconut pineapple water, like a
They do.
flavored coconut water. It kind of just tastes like that would taste like. It doesn't really have an alcohol taste. It's only 5%. So it's just like, a beer, like a seltzer or something like that. It's not overly strong. Um, it's not bad. It's kind of like
It's just not good.
a LaCroix meets a cocktail. Like it's
Hmm.
just not that
Okay.
flavorful. It's like a
Is
little
it
bit
thick?
sunscreeny. Huh?
Is it thick in the mouth? Is it
It's
just like
not,
water?
no, it's not thick. It's pretty
Like
thin. Like,
coconut water? It's like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
literal water.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit more viscosity than like just your normal water, but like it's not thick and syrupy. Like it's definitely not sweet. It's not bad. It's just not great. Um, it's okay. I mean, I'll
Okay.
drink them because I got them now, but like I don't know that I would go back out and buy them again.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being your high life, 1 being the Four Loco, where you put it?
I don't know. Um, I kind of wish you had one because like
Uh,
it's just I'm like maybe around a 5
okay,
because
middle of the road.
it's not bad. It's just I don't know how I feel about it because like it's
I
one of those
gotcha.
things like when you're a kid and you like you're putting your mom's putting sunscreen on your face and she like gets it on your fucking lips and then
And you like
you
start
like
flicking
lick
it.
your
Oh.
lips and you're like you taste sunscreen. It kind of tastes like that, so it's like a little bit nostalgic but a little bit disgusting. So like I don't know.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
giving it a 5. That's
okay.
that's my
Solid five. I
that's
like
my
it.
rating. Yeah. And by the way, this podcast is not sponsored by any of these beverages. They're just getting free publicity, like whether it's good or bad.
Yep.
We're bringing them into the podcast. It doesn't matter if we're paid for it or not. I don't give a shit.
Unless you want to come pay for
Yeah,
us.
unless you want to come sponsor us, like Vita Loco. If you come sponsor us, I'll give you a 6.5 out of 10. Still not a 10.
Big
Like
numbers.
you
Big
you
numbers.
can't pay me for a 10. Like I'm still gonna be very honest with
Ooh.
you. So
All right, 1.5 million. Maybe a 10.
maybe a 7.
You hear that? All right, you got to bring it up a couple notches.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and kind of the last little thing, I guess. There's so many different like devices or different like things that you can drink out of on the course, right? Glass not being
100%.
one because typically glass is not allowed on golf courses. So Mason kind of made a list of like some alternative packaging that isn't just your traditional can. Um, so Mason, you want to like talk about some of these alternative things that you've seen
Yeah,
and
yeah,
why they should be brought to the course?
absolutely. Yeah. So I think the biggest one and the most new one for the cocktail beverage world is the juice pouch. And that one I think came
Hmm.
along with COVID and whatnot.
Yep.
And that's your cocktail literally set up like a Capri Sun. And you're like, stick a straw in it and ready to go.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic way to drink, fun, easy, and really like easy to toss when you're done. Like simple, delicious.
Yep.
Classic flask, like we've talked about. You know, pull it out, screw it off, pull a shot, put it
Mm-hmm.
back, hide it. You're good to keep going, no problem.
Pour a little out for the homies too.
A
Just a
little
tiny,
splash, a little splishy splash, you know,
just a splishy splash.
a little splishy splash, and you take a bath. You know what I'm saying? The classic sippy cup, and that is your your water cup with that straw, that metal straw. If you're trying to save the world, plastic straw. If you just fuck it, I don't care. Kind of status.
Yeah, if you're trying to fuck up some sea turtles, man, you've got that plastic straw like an
You know,
animal.
that's sometimes how it goes.
Yeah,
You got the
unfortunately.
solo cup. Everybody loves their red solo cup.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, red, blue, green, whatever you want to call it. I'm
Yep.
good with it. That's what I normally carry my Bloody Mary in on my way to the golf course, and then maybe finish it out on the way onto the golf course, or crush it out before heading out. And then,
Yep.
of course, everybody's favorite, the college water bottle.
Just like your
Simple.
fucking
You're
like
like simple. Pour
ice
out your
mountain.
regular water. Glacier
Yep.
water, whatever it is.
Yep.
You pour it out. You fill it up with the vodka, close it right back up, and you put it right there. Nobody knows. Nobody suspects a thing. So you
Yeah.
open it up and sniff it. Take a shot. Take a pull. Classic.
Yeah, that brings back a lot of memories because like that's basically not that I drank alcohol in high school, but that sums up high school in a nutshell.
Not that I drank.
Not that I ever did that, but that sums up drinking in high school in a nutshell. Like you're fucking not even like Ice Mountain, like
Uh,
the grocery store brand, like the water bottle that's just enough plastic to hold its shape, but like not real sturdy. It's not
yeah,
like a
the
Dasani
Walmart
bottle because
brand.
a Dasani water
The,
bottle it like has some structure to it, right? It's just like a
yeah,
Coke bottle, like it's a pretty thick plastic. I'm talking about the ones that in reality when it's empty you could fucking crush it into like something that's like this big. Um,
Right. Easy peasy. The
yeah,
a 100th millimeter of a thin piece of plastic kind of
yeah,
action.
yeah, and filling that up with booze and then like bringing that on the course as an adult, like that's fucking you don't give a fuck, man, and that's sweet.
Nah.
Yeah, and that's sweet. I mean, like in high school, like
Uh,
not that it was my currency, but like I'm sure that those water bottles of booze are like worth a lot of money, right? And you're always filling it with like, in theory, the cheapest vodka you can buy and charging fucking Grey Goose prices for it.
if not more.
Yeah, not that I know anything about that, but you know,
Don't know what you're
I've
talking
heard
about.
from people. So
I've lost a few bucks, you know what I'm saying?
I've gained a few bucks, so you know what I'm saying. No, on a real
Man,
note though, like don't wait till you're
those are
21.
yeah.
Don't do what Mason and I did. We're definitely not. I would say that we're not role models by any way, but like we're both good people now. Like we both done some stupid shit when we were kids, but like
We
you know,
learned.
it's funny. Like, and I know my mom's listening because she always does. So like, and I always out myself on this podcast. Like I'm always fucking. I have a couple drinks and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna tell this story. So speaking of water bottles, so I was in high school. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This is a story about my friend. My friend was in high school a long time ago, like, 8 years ago. And yeah, allegedly this happened. And so allegedly my friend was taking vodka, probably a really cheap one like Smirnoff or something, and transferring that into water bottles, allegedly. And some might have spilled on a stained wooden, possibly antique dresser, and allegedly might have removed some of the stain off of the dresser. And my friend played it off like it's weird, this paint is just coming off the dresser, right? Like I don't know why, when my friend was questioned why the stain was coming off the dresser. But yeah, it's all good and fun, like my friend was just trying to make a living back then, so it's just some extra cash. um but yeah, that wasn't a story about me in any way. It was just a story about my friend. But water bottles, absolutely electric way to carry your alcohol if you're an adult that's 21 going golfing. um
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all those kind of vessels that you mentioned. They're all super convenient to like pack. Again, golf bags are not very big, and when you have like all your gear and your glove and balls and tees and everything that you need to play golf, like there's not a whole bunch of room in your bag. So having something like smaller cans, like this, or like Mason had, having like, if you're feeling weird, like getting a little Boda box
Oh,
of
box.
wine. The skinny cans are nice because they're skinny. I don't know why. I was going somewhere with that and I just completely lost it. Um, but there's definitely some alternatives. The juice pouch, flasks. You can fit a good amount of booze in there without it taking up much space. So kind of just building up your repertoire, kind of getting creative with some different beverages on the course. And I think that's kind of our whole point of this podcast. It took us 43 minutes to get here, but I think that's kind of the point we're trying to make. Like maybe wine is not the answer for golf, the next golf beverage, but maybe
Maybe it
we're
is.
not that far off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So, if you were in the situation, what do you think the most elite beverage for a hot summer day on the golf course would be? Now
Is
that
this
we've discussed this.
is this our question of the day, Mason?
Yeah, this is
No.
the question of the day.
So
Again, what is the most elite beverage for a hot summer
hmm,
day on the course?
I think it might be shots.
Shots. I like that.
Yeah, I'm still riding high from
Fire
last week's
answer.
shots episode.
Yeah.
And I think that shots, while they can destroy your round, the bringing people together, the vibes that a fucking shot of whatever it is, whether it's mint, not mint, peppermint schnapps, fucking Fireball, tequila, Jack Daniels, Jameson, whatever it is, whatever your shot of choice is, like shots to me
Peanut
are the
butter
most
shots.
elite, huh?
Little blowjob shot going on.
Yeah. You got your fucking whipped cream canister out on the golf course. You're like, it's like fucking warm. It's like, you're like, don't worry, I've got a cooler in my bag that keeps the whipped cream cold. God, can you imagine? Can you
No.
imagine how much shit you would get, like, if you were with the boys and you're like, got a fucking whipped cream canister in your bag?
I'm ready, boys. Let's
Yeah,
go.
you would probably lose a lot of respect, but
Ugh.
you're also thinking out of the box, so I respect that.
You're ready.
Yeah, Mason, what is your most elite beverage for a hot summer day on the course?
So if I could have one choice and I could actually make it happen in which I wasn't worried about it defrosting, defreezing, whatever you want to say,
Mm-hmm.
I would get a juice pouch cocktail slushy because
Mm.
then I think it would be like the most perfect drink. Like you get plenty of alcohol, you get plenty of ice to make that hot summer day more cool, and you
Mm-hmm.
just keep on going. You just
I dig that.
yes.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that that's a great refreshing cocktail. Like slushies in general are pretty good.
Yeah. Something we didn't even touch on. Froze.
Froze, yeah, I feel like we talked about froze in a different episode.
Well,
Probably,
one, two
maybe,
back, maybe.
yeah, two tree back.
Two tree back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I think that kind of wraps up our golf talk for now. Mason and I are still would love to get out on the course together and then maybe record like a mini golf podcast
Live action status.
live thing for Assemblage. I don't know. There's definitely some logistics that go into that because we're about 3.5 hours away from each other. We've already kind of mapped out the center point, but again, when you throw a 2 hour drive and then like a 4 hour round of golf in, like
And
it,
wanting to drink all at
and
the same
then
time.
and then having to drive 2 hours back,
It's a lot.
it's a lot. So maybe we'll do a boys trip on a weekend where we can
Little
just like,
overnighter.
yeah, a little overnighter. That'd be pretty sweet. That we could booze and not have to drive. That'd be
Oh
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta
So
figure that out.
so for now, the golf talk's done, but definitely gonna be playing more this summer. Now that I kind of got my driver figured out, just have to figure out the rest of my game.
We all.
Which I had the rest of my game kind of figured out, and I didn't have my driver, and now I've got it. It's the way golf works, unfortunately. But yeah, until next time, giveaway winner will have already been announced by the time this podcast comes out. But when we're recording it, it'll be announced tomorrow. So
Winner.
yes, congrats to the winner. We knew you would win all along.
We
Still
appreciate
don't
it.
know who won, but we knew
We know
you
who
would
won.
win.
We knew it. I had it right here.
Yeah.
I believed in you.
Yeah, and between now and then, go check out www.assemblagebevco.com for all your fucking sweet beverage merch. Mason's gonna get undressed once again and show off that t-shirt underneath his Hawaiian shirt. Mason, I need to order more shirts, and when I do, I'll probably throw a couple of them up on the website to try and sell some of our shirts that you could be just like Mason and I. Yep, here for a good time, not a long time. Assemblage t-shirt. Again, a portion of the sales from our merch, whether it be a sticker, a t-shirt, a hoodie, a hat, a wine workshop, which is a really cool gift to give to your loved one who wants to learn more about wine. A portion of those sales will go towards our scholarship. So check out www.assemblagebevco.com. And Mason, until
We're
next time,
just keep on blending.
keep on blending, baby. Peace. We love you guys.
Like,
Thanks for tuning in.